Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I decided to use Ferrothorn in Remix Cup. In a meta where there's a lot of flyers around, it's hard to make grass types really work out, but Ferrothorn having that steel typing really helps it have play against the Mantines, the Glygars, and honestly it's a great pick into the things like the Carbinks, the Jellicents, a lot of the water types as well, so it's a really fun pick to use. Let's take a look at the gameplay and see how it can do. Alright, let's get into the first battle of the day here. We're going to see that we have a Ferrothorn lead into a Shadow Dragonite. Our backline is Shadow Gligar and Goodra, so we don't really have a hard answer into this. We want to stay in, I think, with our Ferrothorn, throw our Mirror Shots. We are running Mirror Shot. It can run Thunder sometimes, it can run Flash Cannon, but I chose Mirror Shot because it is a little bit of a cheaper move, and it can outpace a lot of these Pokemon in the meta. They do shield up, or they no-shield the first move, but they're going to throw a move right now. A Superpower would basically knock us out. We do properly shield it up, and we're going to build a little bit of extra energy. They make a nice catch, however, on their own Ferrothorn. That's a little bit unfortunate, but we have a lot of play into this thing. We can build up a lot of extra energy here too, so basically make it so that catch doesn't really matter here. If we can get like 100 energy out of this matchup, then that Dragonite later on is not going to be that big of a threat. We make a catch of our own here. What moveset are they running? They might be running Mirror Shot, they might be running Flash Cannon. Looks like they're running Mirror Shot. They do get the attack drop as well. Mirror Shot has that chance to lower each opponent's attack every time you throw it. It has a 30% chance to do that, so it's not guaranteed, but I got them a lot today. My opponents got them a lot as well, so 30% chance, it adds up, right? It happens quite a bit more than you'd think. We're just going to tank energy here, build up as much energy as we can. We want to have energy on our Goodra always loaded because we didn't swap out immediately from that Dragonite. That means that their Dragonite could swap in at any moment. Now, we'd want to have energy just in case it does, so we can throw a Thunder Punch at them and knock them out if they do come back in with it. Mirror Shot's going to come through again. As you can see, this move has almost no damage to it. It is a very low damaging move, but we are slowly getting whittled down by these Mirror Shots, and now they Power Whip me. That's a little bit crazy. I guess they're going for that just to get a little bit more raw damage. That makes sense. But we're going to throw out Thunder Punch. The reason I'm throwing Thunder Punch and not Aqua Tail here is they both do the same amount of raw damage, but in case that Dragonite comes in, I'd rather throw a Thunder Punch into it. Looks like they just happen to stay in there, though, which is kind of fine to me. I can throw a move here with my Ferrothorn, maybe knock them out, maybe not. It's obviously a resisted move. It's not the strongest move in the game, and it does knock them out. Luckily, that's very nice to see. We don't have to worry about that energy on the Ferrothorn. What's going to come back in here? It looks like it is the Shadow Dragonite. We have energy loaded. We can throw all of the Mirror Shots that we're going to want to throw here. First one comes through. It gets them pretty low. We have another Mirror Shot that we can throw as well, which will probably put them, probably would knock them out at this range, and they do have to shield it. And now our Shadow Gligar is in a decent position. We're at a point here where it might be able to have some play against the backline. I've seen some Registeels with Dragonite. Maybe it's a Poliwrath. It looks like it actually is a Poliwrath this time. We will try to get to the Aerialist here first. If they shield this, we're in a great spot. If they no-shield this, that might actually be the better play because they survive this, and that's what they do. Now they can debuff us with their Poliwrath, and because we're going to be debuffed, I don't know if I can Wing Attack down that Dragonite before they can get to another Dragon Claw. I'm going to try my best here, Wing Attack down this Poliwrath, and then just do all the fast moves I can against this Shadow Dragonite. They get to a move at the last second here. This is going to be very close. Does a Dragon Claw knock us out, or will we survive on 1 HP? Looks like it is a 1 HP survival with our Shadow Gligar, and we can barely take game number 1. Alright, next match here, Ferrothorn lead into a Chesnaught. This is terrible. This is really bad, right? We only have Mirror Shot we could throw at this. That wouldn't do anything. They have Superpower that they could launch into us there. They stay in when we safe swap our Gligar, though. We get a ton of Wing Attack damage. This is amazing for us. And they try to trip us with a Superpower. That means they probably don't have a hard answer to Shadow Gligar here. And yeah, that's a double. It's an interesting pick. It's kind of like Vigoroth in the sense that it has a fighting type fast move, but then its charge attacks are Body Slam. It can also have Wild Charge or Payback, but I know at this range I would survive a Body Slam here. I'm going to no-shield this. Just try to play for like some sort of shield advantage at this point, because I know after that Superpower chip, there's almost no way I'd actually be able to get Switch here. The next move does come through. Dig will almost knock them out. Looks like they just give up Switch. That's fantastic for me. I really want Switch this game because I have my my Ferrothorn that does not want to see that Chesnaught. And now we see their third. It is a Magnet, so non-Shadow. But I have nothing but a Pokemon that resists this thing's attacks, especially the electric type damage. It can't throw Wild Charge. Well, it can. It is still technically the more efficient move, but we resist the moves pretty heavily here. So we'll just shield up just in case, because Wild Charge probably would do the most damage. That's a Flash Cannon even. Not a Wild Charge, a Flash Cannon. That's a wild move set here. But they swap to their Chesnaught. I can come in with my Goodra. Looks like they're trying to build up to double Superpower, but since they're building up so much energy, they obviously don't want to debuff their defense stat. We can throw the Aqua Tail. It knocks them out just barely before they can get their double Superpower off. Obviously, we still have two things that destroy Magnezone in the back, and we can take that match. Alright, next game. Oh my goodness, dude. The leads don't get any better here. Shadow Typhlosion, that is absolutely terrible. We safe swap our Shadow Gligar, and we are met with a Jellicent. So this just keeps getting worse and worse for us. We can have some play in this matchup, though. Shadow Gligar is a decently strong pick. They obviously don't resist any of our damage, which means if they don't throw energy here, we can get to another Aerialist before they get to another move. I think they were building up energy because the Surf might not have knocked us out just yet, so they want to have energy to go against my backline. Looks like we do get a shield, so we can never get switch advantage. They have back-to-back Surfs now. We'll just let this go. Come in with Ferrothorn, farm up as much energy as we can to throw into that Typhlosion later on, and see what we can do here with our Goodra in the back. We've already been a little bit weak to Goodra, though, so I wouldn't expect something else that would be, like, really weak to it, but with the shield advantage, there's a chance we might have some play with our Goodra as our third Pokemon. They're staying in here, so it makes me think maybe they are a little bit weak to Goodra in the back. I want to shield up a potential Blast Burn. That would do a lot of damage. Looks like that is what they throw, and then they come in with a Registeel. This isn't amazing, but it still feels a little bit playable, right? Dragon Breath does do a lot of fast move pressure here. We have Aqua Tails. We can outspam them because of the energy lead that we got against that Typhlosion. So maybe I can chip this thing down enough to where I can get my Goodra against that Typhlosion in the endgame. Shield with the first move, this Focus Blast would knock us out, or basically knock us out at this point. I need my Goodra for sure if I want to have any chance this game. Building up a lot more energy here. If I can ever make a catch as well, I think a catch instantly wins me this match. We land this next Aqua Tail, and we swap out, we make a catch here on the Focus Blast. This should knock us out as long as they don't undercharge. Even if they do undercharge, though, we have energy to go. They full send the move. We come in with our Goodra. We try to farm them all the way down, just barely, right before the Focus Blast is hit. We get the full farm down. We can get to the first Aqua Tail, strip the first shield, and then we can knock them out here with the second Aqua Tail. Goodra able to sweep the backline here against the Typhlosion and Registeel core. It was a very close match, but that catch was absolutely critical, and this energy management on our Goodra was more than enough to take us the match. Alright, our next opponent here is going to have a Deoxys defense, so these bad leads keep on coming. I just have to instantly swap here, right? We don't want to take any of this fast move pressure, although later on in the game, Ferrothorn into Deoxys defense isn't really that bad, because their charge moves go absolutely nowhere against our Steel type. We're going to take the move here on Gligar. They come in with their Goodra. I know I can get to 2 Aerial Aces before they can get to an Aqua Tail, so maybe there's a chance I can strip a shield here from them before I'll have to use a shield myself. Honestly, I probably don't even get a chance to use the shield. They'll probably just farm me all the way down, but I want to see a shield come through here. If they do, I'll have some sort of advantage in the backline. Looks like they do shield up that move. They want to be safe. They want to keep switch advantage, which does make a lot of sense. I've seen a lot of Deoxys leads with things like Quagsire, maybe Steelix, maybe Carbink in the back, so they obviously want to keep Ferrothorn on their Deoxys. We absorb all of the energy this Goodra can throw. The whole reason I'm coming in with my Ferrothorn here rather than my Goodra is to get as much energy as I can, resist their attacks, and maybe leverage something against that Deoxys later on. We can throw the Power Whip now that we're almost at 100 energy here. I want to do a bit of an undercharge to make sure I can get a bit of a farm down as well. We do get a Great here. Maybe a bit too much damage, honestly, because I wouldn't have minded getting a couple extra Bullet Seeds through, but we do have this Power Whip loaded. We can throw it into this Deoxys now, and come in with our Goodra. Hopefully there isn't a hard counter for us in the back, but there is, kind of, right? That's a Carbink, a Fairy-type Pokemon. Generally, Fairy-types do very well into Dragons, but we do have Shield and Energy advantage here. There's a chance if we spam out enough Aqua Tails, our Goodra can put in enough work to knock out this Carbink eventually. First one comes through, they're still well above half health, right? So even though that's a super effective Aqua Tail, they're resisting our fast moves so much here. They're a very bulky Pokemon. There's almost no chance that our Goodra is going to be able to come out of this with too much health left over, but we have a lot of energy here, right? We had the double shield advantage, so we're going to shield up twice. We have 2 Aqua Tails loaded. We always want to have energy as well, just in case that Deoxys does come back in, so we can try to strip it down for our Ferrothorn to deal with. Aqua Tail number 1, or I guess this is number 2 at this point, it comes through. It almost knocks them out. We have yet another Aqua Tail, almost a third loaded, so even if they shield, I can just throw back to back here. And if they no shield, I can throw an Aqua Tail into that Deoxys. Looks like they do survive on 1 HP. We throw the Aqua Tail here. If this lands, then I'm going to be in a very good spot. I think I can fast move them down, but if they let it go, then my Ferrothorn might be able to get to another move in the back. They realize that, they let it go, and now I think this Deoxys is in fast move farm down range. I'm going to go for my Bullet Seed here. I know I resist every single charge attack this thing could have, but do I survive it? Thunderbolt comes through, it barely doesn't knock us out. We get yet another Bullet Seed through, and the final Pokemon, the Carbink, with 1 HP gets Bullet Seeded down, and we can take the match against the Deoxys defense lead. Our next matchup here, Ferrothorn into a Shadow Gyarados. This is a pretty decent lead for us, but a little bit awkward depending on if they make a catch or if they have like really good energy management here. I'm going to go for the bait. This is a very risky play, but I know Shadow Gyarados users likely want to shield the first move. We get the Mirror Shot bait off, they do shield it, that's fantastic for us. Now we can easily outpace this thing. They try to make a nice catch on their Magnezone, however, I don't fall for it, and I have my Goodra here that can easily wall a lot of this energy. If this is a Wild Charge, it would do a lot of damage, but I know they probably wouldn't want a Wild Charge first. I'll no-shield it. And at this point, if they throw a Wild Charge now, if I shield it, I think I can farm them all the way down, because the defense drop is going to be so huge. They do Wild Charge, we shield it up, that would probably knock me out, honestly, from that range. Dragon Breaths are shredding through this Magnezone, we have so much energy loaded that Gyarados never threw a move, right? So they can technically throw a move instantly if they want to come back in with it, or maybe they'll bring in their third. Looks like that's what they do. They were maybe expecting me to blind throw the Thunder Punch, and they try to make a catch on their Diggersby. Luckily, though, I didn't throw my energy. I knew that I'd lose CMP to that Gyarados, so there wasn't really any point CMPing there, and we're just going to try to spam through these Aqua Tails against this Diggersby. Obviously, it's a very bulky Pokemon, but it's not bulky enough to survive too many super effective moves. We get this next Aqua Tail off, too. I didn't build up to the Thunder Punch. I guess our opponent was on point with their counts there, so they knew that. I just wanted to get some chip off so we can come in here, get the Mirror Shot chip, and maybe land a Power Whip as well. I should, I think, survive a crunch from this range, so I can no-shield this, maybe even get to another Power Whip here, and make it so I can make this Diggersby's life really uncomfortable. Looks like they have back-to-back moves, though. I'll just shield this up at this point, because I know that I'm at the Power Whip. If I can throw this move, I can guarantee that this Gyarados is not going to be a problem for my Gligar, and because most Diggersby don't actually run Hyper Beam, I think my Shadow Gligar in the back is going to be more than enough to close out this match. If this is a Fire Punch here, then I know for sure it's not running Hyper Beam, unless they're running Fire Punch Hyper Beam for some reason. But yeah, that is a Fire Punch, so almost certainly this is going to have a Scorching Sands moveset, and yeah, they're not running Hyper Beam. We get the game, and we can take it with our Shadow Gligar in the back. Alright, next matchup, a Ferrothorn into a Giratina. This is terrible. We have no damage into this whatsoever. Mirror Shot's our best attack into that, but it's not going to do anything, right? It's a pretty bad move. They come in with their Tapu Fini when we safe swap our Shadow Gligar, so another very bad situation. However, I know if I can land a dig, then I can one shield through this, I can farm them all the way down. Tapu Fini is not the bulkiest Pokemon out there, right? It's not Azumarill, it's not the bulkiest little fairy type, so we can shield once, farm them all the way down, have energy to go against their backline, and maybe there's a chance that I can use this switch advantage to my favor. We have a lot of energy here too, so if they come back in with that Giratina, we can probably get a dig off against them, or if they come in with their third, we'll be able to see their full lineup. Looks like they do just come back in with that Tina, we'll get this move off. It's going to do a lot of damage here. It's probably going to put them below half health, well below half actually, so hopefully our Goodra now is going to be able to farm them all the way down. They do swap out though to their Registeel. We have to keep in mind they have energy on their Giratina, but again, this is a terrible matchup to be in. A bit of a core breaker for my Goodra plus my Ferrothorn duo, which means that maybe if I can spam out moves here, my only chance of winning this game is going to be with my Goodra. I know I survive a move here. I can't give up a shield just yet. They're running Flash Cannon, actually, which is going to do slightly less damage than the Focus Blast would do, so I'm kind of fine with that. I'm going to have a little bit of health left over on my Goodra, and I'm going to spam out these Aqua Tails as quickly as I can. Once again, these Dragon Breaths are chipping through this Registeel, right? And at this point, I've kind of put this thing and that Giratina in range where our Ferrothorn might be able to knock them out in the back. Another Flash Cannon does come through, but we have Aqua Tail. We're just going to start spamming these outright, throw this as quickly as we can. If they try to make a catch here, that's totally fine by me as well, because if they do catch a move, that's going to put that Giratina even closer to range where my Ferrothorn can knock them out. They did store a Focus Blast. We have to keep that in mind. We need to come out of this Ferrothorn matchup here with a little bit of energy. We get another Dragon Breath through. This is prime Bullet Seed downrange. I am a little worried, though. I think I'm only going to get 3 Bullet Seeds out of this matchup. If there is any chance a Mirror Shot knocks out, I absolutely need it to. It's going to be so close. This Registeel, it has a sliver of health, but this is a terrible move. 2 bulky Pokemon, it's resisted. It gets the knockout, and it takes out the Registeel, beating the Giratina Regi duo here with our Ferrothorn somehow. I don't know even how that was possible. All right, next matchup, finally, we caught a break here with the leads. A Shadow Quagsire. This is fantastic. Normally, these Quagsires don't run Mud Bomb, which means I absorb all of the energy that they have in that lead matchup. I'm going to they safe swap their Mantine. I'm going to throw this move here to try to chip them down a little bit, make it so it's a little bit more comfortable for my Goodra to take care of. I know that most Mantines in this meta seem to be running Water Pulse, so I'm fine coming into this matchup now, just absorbing the energy. It looks like it's just Aerial Ace that they're throwing at us, and I'm going to try to throw an Aqua Tail right before they get to their third Aerial Ace. I know I survived this move. They didn't even bait the Ice Beam that time, so that's really good for us. We don't even have to worry about shielding. We get the Aqua Tail right when they get their Aerial Ace. If they want to shield, they can be my guest. If they want to no shield, that's even better for me. They do end up shielding, though. They do want Switch advantage, obviously, but since I also want Switch, I'll just shield this up, farm them down, and have energy that I can throw into that Quagsire later on. If the Quagsire comes back in, I'll get a decent amount of Dragon Breath chip onto them, and I can also throw these Aqua Tails. Although I didn't throw my energy there. This is totally fine by me, though. This means this Quagsire is energy dry. I didn't get a move off onto them, but that's not going to matter, right? I can Power Whip them later on, and I can get a lot of Bullet Seed damage, maybe put them into Aerial Ace range if I need to. Their next Pokemon is a Gligar. This is non-Shadow, but we don't have a hard answer to this in the back. Our Gooch is probably our best answer to Gligar, but we have our own Shadow Gligar, and after that Mirror Shot, especially after that debuff, we are in a great spot here. We can try to just absorb the energy, throw our own Aerial Aces, and knock them out as quickly as possible before they can swap back into their Quagsire. Our Ferrothorn is very healthy in the back, so even if somehow they take out our Gligar, it's not going to matter. This Gligar is non-Shadow, right? They're not going to be able to knock us out. Digs aren't going to do anywhere near as much damage to our Ferrothorn in the back, and at this point, they'd have to shield their Gligar if they want to keep it around. If they ever use a shield here, that means that they're not going to be able to shield up a Power Whip on the Quagsire, so I can just one-shot them there. This next move comes through, they do no-shield it, and the Quagsire does come back in. Quagsire is very healthy, but we can get this move off. If they no-shield it, they're going to be in fast move farm down range. If they shield it, then I Power Whip them. Looks like they do no-shield. That's probably the smarter play, and Aerialist will do a lot less damage than a Power Whip, but we do get to the next move. I don't choose to throw it, though. I know at this point, fast move pressure is going to be the way I win this game. I also know that Gligar's done a lot for me this game. I want to save it. Don't let it get knocked out here by the Aqua Tail and swap into my Ferrothorn, so my Gligar can live to see another day. We catch the Aqua Tail here. It's not going to do much damage. We can Bullet Seed them down now and take the match. Alright, our next match here, a Ferrothorn into another Deoxys. I saw a lot of Deoxys defense leads today, but I think there was only one that I ended up losing to, and it was a super hard RPS match. So we're going to see if this is going to be one of them. They do Psycho Boost and Dip. That is the Deoxys defense way. It seems to be the best way to play out this matchup, right? Soften my Gligar so that your backline is going to be able to absorb my energy a lot better, and just finish off my Gligar, keep switch advantage for them a lot easier. We do see the Shadow Steelix comes in, but we have Dig. Dig is going to do a lot of damage. We can get to the Ace as well. They don't throw any energy yet, which means we should be able to take a shield advantage from this matchup. Because the Steelix is so low as well, I think I can Bullet Seed this all the way down and not have to take more than maybe just one move. We do Bullet Seed. We hopefully are just going to take a Crunch here. Hopefully it's not an Earthquake. Looks like it is just Crunch. We should knock them out with that move, and it does. If that Deoxys comes back in, I want to swap as quickly as I can, get my Ferrothorn out of there. I know I can tank the charge moves, but I don't want to be locked in with the fast moves, so we do swap to our Goodra, and they Psycho Boost once again. I'm going to shield this, because I feel like at this point, my Goodra is still pretty useful, right? I don't want to take half my health if I can help it. They come in with a Shadow Magnezone. Goodra resists all of the electric type damage here. I don't resist the steel type damage though, so we have to keep that in mind. If this is a mirror shot, we could get attack dropped. It is a mirror shot bait, good bait by them. No attack drop luckily though. We throw our Aqua Tail as quickly as we can. Even though they resist Dragon Breath here on Magnezone, obviously it's a very squishy Pokemon, so we can either farm them all the way down or try to get another shield here. I know they have to shield this move, right? There's no way they can't, so we'll guarantee the shield, and I am totally fine letting my Goodra go down at this point. I can Bullet Seed this down. I can hopefully use my Ferrothorn to sweep that backline. We do swap into Ferro, we get a free Bullet Seed there, and hopefully this Deoxys is not going to be able to chip us down before we get the knockout. First Power Whip comes through. They don't have too much energy, right? They swapped out after Psycho Boosting us immediately, so they're completely dry. They might get one move off here, but one move isn't going to do enough. I'd have to be well within the red to be able to get knocked out by a charge move from a Deoxys defense. Our Ferrothorn is just too bulky. The fast moves are not able to knock us out. We get to the second Power Whip and take the match against yet another Deoxys defense lead. Alright, next opponent here, we're going to see the Ferrothorn. Oh my goodness, I keep talking about him. Here is yet another Deoxys defense. We're going to play it the same way we have been. Safe swap our Shadow Gligar, probably take a Psycho Boost, and try to do our best to get some sort of advantage out of this matchup. Psycho Boost does come through. It's going to do a lot of damage, get us to about half health. And then this time, we're going to see the Mandibuzz come in. This is probably much worse than the Steelix, right? There's no way I'm ever going to get shield advantage out of this matchup, and my Ferrothorn's not going to be able to knock this out super easily. So I'm in a very dire position here. I'm going for my Aerial Aces, trying to chip this thing down as much as I can. My Wing Attacks and Aerial Aces will do a decent amount of chip damage, but it's not going to do a lot of damage to us. Here, they do go for a bait as well, so that is really bad for us to see. This bait means now they can easily get to another Dark Pulse here. They're probably not even going to have to shield, but I needed to get as much damage against this Mandibuzz as I could. I needed to chip it down into range where our Ferrothorn could handle it. We don't survive that Dark Pulse, we get knocked out, we come in with our Ferrothorn, build up as much energy as we can here, just tank the damage on our Ferrothorn as well. I know that if I do one more Bullet Seed and then swap to my Goodra, I can swap out with a lot of energy on my Ferro, and also have energy on my my Goodra, and have a lot of health on both of my Pokemon. Their third is going to be the Shadow Quagsire, so what looked like a really bad game might just be a little bit more playable now. They do have the potential to have Stone Edge here, maybe it's Aqua Tail though. Okay, well that's a Mud Bomb that they're going to throw at us here. That's not even after 7. I know I survived this. This is probably the worst case scenario. I think the best thing that could have happened in this game was shielding up a Stone Edge, because they wouldn't have got to 2. But since they're running Mud Bomb, that means they're going to be able to get to a second one pretty early that I have to shield. This is still kind of fine. It's not amazing, but I think it is playable. Our Goodra has enough health here where the Deoxys is not going to be able to fast move us down, at least not as soon as they'd want to. They'd have to throw a Psycho Boost to knock us out here, which they probably wouldn't want to expend, or debuff their own attack. And get yet another move off here. We have so much energy on our Ferrothorn that if they shield that up, I have the 2 Power Whips loaded, right? This energy, once again, it doesn't go anywhere against our Ferrothorn. We have 2 Power Whips, Rock Slide on this Deoxys, that's kind of fun, but it's not going to help them in the slightest here. First Power Whip comes through, I'm going to throw another Bullet Seed, make sure that they're locked into the counter animation, that they don't make the sack swap. We get it on the Deoxys here, and that Quagsire is within fast move range. We can Bullet Seed all the way down and take the match against yet another Deoxys defense lead. Hopefully you don't see too many more of those today. It was very annoying to try to face, but we did beat most of them that we saw. Alright, we got a little bit of a better lead here, right? The Empoleon is not as strong into Ferrothorn as the Deoxys defense would be, but it is still a little bit annoying. We see that they're staying in this matchup, which can only mean one thing, and that's that they might be kind of weak to this in the back, which I always hate staying in lead matchups like this when I know that my Ferrothorn, while it is alright here, it probably has more play in the backline. Drill Peck does put us almost at half health. Ferrothorn is very bulky, which means that I do survive 2 moves here, but these shieldings are adding up, and because I know that they might be a little bit more scared of their Ferrothorn here, I want to shield it up, keep it around just in case I need it for whatever is in the back. I can throw a Mirror Shot here, put them into fast move farm down range for my Goodra, for my Ferrothorn, depending on whatever happens, and see how they want to play it out. They come in with a Giratina Origin form. This isn't amazing because we are down shields and they're up energy, but if I shield a Shadow Ball, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to get a full farm down here and have a ton of energy to go against maybe if that Empoleon comes back in, or against whatever the third is. I know Empoleon Gligar is a very strong duo. I've seen a lot of the teams here with Empoleon, Giratina, and Shadow Gligar. So yeah, I was expecting that in the back. Looks like we have the Aqua Tails. We can just start throwing into them back to back to back. If they don't throw energy here, I will get to my third. If they do throw energy, then I'll have a lot of health on my own Gligar. I'll have stripped a bit of health off of this, so I should be in a pretty good spot. They do double shield. They kind of have to, right? And they're going to throw energy right before I get to my next Aqua Tail. This will knock us out, but I think we're still in a very solid position. Our Ferrothorn has a decent amount of health left over, and we also have our Gligar at full health. We just have to make sure that we don't get sniped down by that Empoleon. They are 2 fast attacks away from their next charge move, so as long as we don't stay in too long with our Gligar against that, we should be in a pretty good spot. We don't quite get the next move. They overfarm a little bit there, maybe expecting a catch, maybe not. They do get the move off, but it is a Hydro Cannon, which means they didn't quite register the catch. I got the Bullet Seed through, I have my Power Whip, I also have my full health Gligar available, and we can take that game. Alright, getting into this next matchup here, we're going to see our Ferrothorn lead into a Giratina Origin, an absolutely terrible lead, but we're going to safe swap our Shadow Gligar and try to get what we can out of this matchup. We do get to the Aerial Ace before they can throw a move or before they swap out, so this means that my Gligar either is a core breaker for their backline, or that they're just going to want to trip us down before swapping out. Getting so much damage onto this Tina, though, is going to mean that Mirror Shots from our Ferrothorn, or maybe just Dragon Breath from our Goodra, could deal with this if they end up swapping out, so this isn't as bad as the lead might have been. We also see that they're staying in even more here. We can get another Aerial Ace off before they get to their next move, and if this lands, then we're going to knock them out. If not, we can probably just shield and farm down. I know that my Gligar is likely going to be useful here, right? They're staying in Giratina, which isn't exactly a Gligar counter against our Gligar, so we're going to shield this, farm down, and maybe whatever comes in is not going to be something that our Gligar would hate to see. They're going to eventually come in with here, I think it's going to be a Carbink, yeah. We can get to 2 Digs. Dig is going to do a lot of damage to them. It won't be able to 2-shot, though, so they can probably just let their Carbink go. They know that I have a Ferrothorn in the lead, right? So there's almost no reason for them to shield this. We'll get them pretty low after throwing these 2 moves, but they should have enough energy that they might be able to get to a Rock Slide or something later on. They are going to survive this. They do no shield, and our Ferrothorn is going to come in to try to sponge energy, but then we see that the third Pokemon does come in here. It's going to be that Poliwrath. Poliwrath is a little bit of a scary Pokemon to see. It is a decent core breaker here into our Goodra plus our Ferrothorn because it does have Ice-type damage with the Icy Wind and Fighting-type damage with its Fast move. We got a shield, though, with that Power Whip, so if I can with my Goodra, I try to get to a Thunder Punch here before they get to another move. Maybe I can put them into Fast Move farm down range. They need to farm us all the way down if they want to have any chance here. If our Goodra can Dragon Breath them down before they're able to do that, then we're in a very good spot. Looks like they have to throw energy. They can't get the farm down here. Our Ferrothorn should be able to Bullet Seed this down, Bullet Seed down the Carbink, and we should be able to take the match against another Giratina lead using our Ferrothorn. We have the Mirror Shot, might as well throw it, take out this Carbink, and take the game on yet another lost lead matchup. And that Mirror Shot goes through, it gets the knockout, and we take the match there. Ferrothorn was a ton of fun to use today. It was a pick that I wanted to try out because I know that a lot of people do disrespect grass types. With that said, I didn't catch too many good leads with it tonight. I saw so many Deoxys, so many Dragons, a lot of fighters just in general. It wasn't the best night for leads, but we overcame a ton of those bad matchups as you saw today, and we were able to get a pretty positive day with a lot of bad situations. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I stream Pokemon Go PvP nearly every day at twitch.tv/itsaxon, so if you want to see this kind of content live, make sure to check me out there. I'm also going to upload a lot more videos to the channel, so if you want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe. Alright, well thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, and goodbye.